Hello friends, welcome back to Mimi's World. Today we're going to begin with a quick LA Colors Color Craze Glow Nail Polish review. So I picked up these three colors of this glow in a black light nail polishes. I picked up the green, the orange, and the pink. So I decided to put the pink on, and it came on very nice. It's very smooth and it dried really quick. Anyway, here's the Blacklight, and look at this. Wow, the nails, they change, they glow. And so I turn off the other light just so I can have the black light, and look at that. Wow, that's amazing. This product is amazing. It's a thumbs up. Okay, let's get on to the DIYs. I'm going to make this fall pumpkin DIY with initials, and I'm doing the grandchildren. You can do children, you could do fur babies, but you're going to take these 5-pack of DIY color your own pumpkins and some of this Dollar Tree spackle to fill in the holes. So you're just gonna get all the holes filled up. Just makes it a better looking DIY when you take care of those little holes. You just take your time and get them all filled up. Doesn't take long, and it dries pretty quick, and it's a really good product. It's real soft to work with. So here I have them all filled up. Oh, and they're also paintable. You can paint over it, so it's a really good product. So here I'm taking my Waverly chalk paint in the color Hazelnut, and I'm going to paint 4 of the 5 pumpkins. And I'm painting one in the Merlot mixed with Hazelnut. So you can see the one on the left is one with Hazelnut and Merlot, and then the ones on the right are just Hazelnut. But now I'm going to add a little bit of the moss, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a texture, a little bit of a depth of color. So I'm just gonna lightly dry brush it on, just little bits, not too much. So the Merlot one is going to represent my granddaughter. That's why it's a little bit pinkish, a little bit reddish. And then the 4 with the mossy green are going to represent my grandsons. But you can do whatever color combination you'd like. So here I'm taking one of these bigger pumpkin plaques, and I'm turning it over so I don't have to worry about the glitter on the other side. And I'm taking the Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew, and I'm going to paint the whole entire pumpkin this color. And like I mentioned before, I really like the chalk paints because really one coat does it all. And this is literally one coat, and it gives it really great coverage. So now I'm using some more of that moss, that green moss color, just to give that pumpkin a little bit of depth, a little bit of texture, to make it look like it's a pumpkin. So here it's all nice and dry. It dries pretty quick, and I'm going to adhere some of these log pieces. I had split them using a knife and a hammer, and I demonstrated that in a previous DIY. I can link it down below if you want to see how I split them, but they're pretty easy to split. So I just kind of added them on there. I did kind of fuss with them a little bit and get them a little more straight. So now here I'm going to assemble the 5 little pumpkins, and I'm trying to get them to sit a little bit naturally, to make it look like a little bit of a pumpkin patch. My original idea was to use my Cricut and put on the big pumpkin, Grandma and Grandpa's pumpkin patch, and I still may do that, but I ended up skipping that portion. But that was my original idea, was to do that. And so these pumpkins here will receive an initial for each of the grandkids, and so that's what the initials are going to be. And if I didn't mention that, you would not understand why I would put initials on there. That didn't make any sense. But so here I go. I'm taking my initials. I'm using a letter R for my granddaughter. Get it on there. An E for my grandson. A B for my other grandson. Try to get it straight with the stem. Take another R for another grandson. And a letter C for the last grandson. Just try to make it look a little whimsical, just a little bit. So here I'm adding the florals and I'm covering the little holes with some little beads just to cover it up, and added a little ribbon and decided to put a little bit of a twine bow for my granddaughter. And then for my grandsons, I wanted to use something a little more masculine, and so I took off some of the bark off one of those little log pieces. It peels right off, so then I cut it to fit the little stem portions, just to give it a little extra dimension, just a little extra texture in the piece. So I placed those on there just with some hot glue. Trying to be careful not to burn my fingers. Originally I was thinking about putting a little bow on each of the little pumpkins, but I decided to do just the bow for the granddaughter and then the little pieces of bark for the grandsons. And that's it, guys. That's my pumpkin with a little bow on top. Okay, on to DIY number 2, modern farmhouse pumpkin DIY. So we're going to begin with one of these larger foam pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to remove the stem, and I'm going to take this portion of my multi-tool that's got a serrated edge blade, and I'm going to cut a hole in the center of the foam pumpkin. And when you do this, just keep in mind it's styrofoam, so it's going to make a mess, but it's not too bad. It's okay. Now I'm taking one of these microfiber mop heads that's new at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take this apart. And it's a little bit snug in there, but it's possible. So I'm taking this little knife blade, and if you're going to do this, please be careful, don't cut yourself. Put a little pressure and the little ends will cut right off. Just wiggle it. That's enough to loosen it up a little bit, and then take one end and just pull, and the whole thing will come out. Just keep pulling. If I had it close to me, I would have pulled it right away, but I wanted to show you on the camera. So now you're going to split it open. Don't cut the center. You're just going to open it up and lay it flat on the table. Don't cut the center. That's just going to make a big mess. Leave it gathered. Just trying to make sense of it. Now I'm taking some of this white chalk paint, and you can use any paint you'd like. Again, I'm using the chalk paint because of the good coverage and that it's fast drying. And so now I stick one of these paint sticks, stir sticks, in the center so I can paint the whole thing in one shot and not worry about painting my hands, painting my newly polished nails. That way I don't make a big mess and leave fingerprints on the pumpkin, and you know how it goes. You know how it goes. And again, you don't have to paint it all completely 100% coverage because we will be covering this pumpkin. So let it dry, and once the pumpkin is dry, you're going to place it in the center of the mop, of the opened mop head, and you're going to start stuffing the hole with these strands. You're going to pull them, you're going to try and straighten them out. You just got to work with it. You got to take your time and get them to line up just right, and just stuff them in there. They'll go in just right. They'll stay. Just don't make the hole too big, because you really don't want to use hot glue for this. This would be a hot mess. So just keep stretching it and putting it in there until you get it all stuffed in the hole, and turn around to the other side. You can do this with the smaller pumpkins too, but being that the mop head was pretty big, or large enough, I decided to definitely use one of these larger pumpkins. But yeah, otherwise the other pumpkins already come white. So anyway, you're gonna go here and just kind of move it around and get it all covered, kind of adjust it. And I'm taking one of these log pieces again, and that's going to be my stem. You don't have to hot glue it or anything, it should stay. And here's the look. I ended up putting a little bit of that garland on there and the metal leaves back on. And that's the look. That's both DIYs together. So hope you like this video. I was really happy with it. I was very pleased. I might go back and put the grandma and grandpa's pumpkin patch on that other pumpkin. We'll see. Well, thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet, and enter my giveaway. Bye bye.